Have you ever found yourself facing a decision that was just agonizing? I mean, a choice so huge that no matter which way you turned, it felt like it would lead to some kind of heartbreak. A moment where what you have to do goes against everything you love, and the price of doing the right thing just seems way too high. It's a tough one, right? And this isn't some new problem we've just invented. This is a question that has been echoing for thousands of years. It's that fundamental human crisis, where we find ourselves standing on our own personal battlefield, completely torn between our duty and what our heart just can't bear to do. And this is exactly where our story takes us. Not to an office or a quiet living room, but to the vast, dusty battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is where the greatest warrior of his time, the legendary archer Arjuna, looks out at the opposing army and sees his own family. And that sight throws him into a crisis that will change everything. So, let's set the scene. We have a hero who is completely falling apart. Now, this is Arjuna, a warrior prince who is famous for his incredible skill and his rock-solid determination. But today, right as the horns of war are about to blow, all of that strength just evaporates. This isn't a crisis of courage, it's a crisis of conscience. And you can just feel the anguish in these words he speaks to his guide and chariot here, Krishna. He's seeing bad omens everywhere. He's questioning the whole point of a victory that can only be won by killing the very people he loves. This is not a warrior talking strategy. This is a man whose heart is absolutely breaking. So what's going through his head? Well, his reasons are incredibly deep. His famous bow literally slips from his hands because he's just overwhelmed with compassion. I mean, he looks across the field and sees his teachers, his grandfathers, his cousins. He argues that the sin of killing his own family would be so much worse than any kingdom he could possibly win. Any victory, he realizes, would just be soaked in grief. So right here, in this moment of total collapse, Arjuna turns to his friend, Krishna. And Krishna, well, he's more than just a charioteer. The wisdom he's about to share isn't just for a warrior on a battlefield. It's for any of us who've ever felt paralyzed by doubt. And it all starts with a completely new way of looking at the self. Now, you'd think Krishna would give him a pep talk, right? Tell him to be brave. But he doesn't. He starts by talking about the very nature of reality. He introduces Arjuna to this idea of the Atman, the true self. He explains that who we really are isn't our body or our name or the roles we play. Who we are is this eternal, unchangeable soul that lives inside every single being. And to make this idea really land, Krishna uses this beautiful, simple metaphor. He says, the body is like a set of clothes. Just like we take off old clothes and put on new ones, the soul, the Atman, leaves behind old, worn-out bodies and enters new ones. So death isn't some final end. It's just a change of outfit, really. And this difference is everything. The body? It's temporary, it's perishable. But the Atman, the soul, it's eternal and it never changes. You see, all of Arjuna's pain comes from confusing himself with the temporary clothes. Krishna is trying to get him to see the true, immortal person wearing the clothes, in himself, and yes, even in the people he thinks are his enemies. This is the first key to unlocking his grief. Okay, so understanding that you are an eternal soul is a huge first step. But then what? How are you supposed to actually live in the world with that knowledge, especially when you still have to make these impossible choices? Well, this leads us to the next part, the secret of action. So Krishna brings up this core concept of dharma. Dharma is basically your sacred duty, your right path. For Arjuna as a warrior, his dharma is to fight injustice and protect what's right. Krishna explains that walking away from this duty wouldn't be a peaceful act. It would actually create more chaos. Your dharma isn't just a job. It's your specific part to play in keeping the universe in balance. And this is the master key, a revolutionary idea called Nishkama Karma. Krishna tells Arjuna to fight, and to fight with everything he's got. But, and this is the big but, to do it without being attached to the results. Don't fight for victory. Don't fight for a kingdom. Just act because it's your duty, because it's the right thing to do. This path is what frees you from all the anxiety about what's going to happen. It's really a three-step process. First, you have to clearly identify your duty, your dharma. Second, you pour every ounce of your focus and skill into doing it as well as you possibly can. And third, and this is the real game changer,
You have to completely let go of the outcome. You act and you let victory or defeat come as they may with a calm mind. So now Arjuna is armed with this incredible wisdom. He knows he's the eternal self, and he knows the secret to selfless action. And with that, he is completely transformed. The warrior, who was a puddle of despair on the floor of his chariot, he's now standing on a foundation of unshakable clarity and strength. Listen to these words he says to Krishna right before the battle. I mean, what a total 180. The confusion is gone. The despair is gone. It's been replaced with clarity and purpose. He's not paralyzed by his emotions anymore. He's ready to act, not from anger or for personal gain, but from a place of deep, profound understanding of his duty. And that's the real story here. We think it's about a man deciding to go to war, but it's not. The real battle was never on that field. It was fought inside Arjuna's own mind. His real victory wasn't over his cousins. It was over his own confusion, his own attachments, and his own fear. He journeyed from total inner chaos to a state of inner peace, even as the world around him prepared for war. So, as we wrap this up, this ancient story turns and looks right back at us. Because we all face our own battlefields, don't we? Battlefields of difficult choices, of duties that clash, of emotions that feel overwhelming. Arjuna's journey invites us to ask ourselves, what is the battlefield I need to face right now? What is my dharma calling me to do? And can I find the strength to do it with everything I've got while letting go of the results?